that time again. Time for another episode of What's Cooking. Tonight's recipe just screams fall. I am making a stuffed acorn squash, and it's stuffed with like sausage and mushrooms and apples, and I've been looking forward to this all week. It looks so good. So I have to prep my squash. So what I've done is I've taken 2 acorn squashes, I've cut them in half and taken the seeds out of the middle. And then I'm going to cook these ahead of time because we want to scrape out the middle, but we want to leave the shell intact. So I'm just going to spray them with a little bit of olive oil so they don't stick to the pan. I've just got a sheet pan here lined with parchment paper. Sprayed these, got my oven preheated to 450, and I'm going to stick these in the oven for about 20 minutes. So we're just going to set that timer. And while that's in the oven, I'm going to prep my stuffing. So I'm going to get my mushrooms cut, I'm going to get my sausage browned, cut up my apples, and get the rest of my stuff thrown into a pan. So I will be back to show you the rest of the ingredients shortly. Alright, so the sausage is done cooking. I just took the squash out of the oven, and I'm going to let that sit for just a little bit while I do the rest of the stuffing. So it's okay for me to touch. So I've chopped up 16 ounces of mushrooms and 1 apple, and it can be whatever kind of apple you want. I'm using Honeycrisp because those are our favorites.
And the recipe called for 3 containers of mushrooms?
No, it only calls for 2.
You said 3! Get your butt out of here.
That was in the test recipe. And this is life in my house, guys. Trying to cook while it's loud, and yeah, but whose house is ever quiet, right? So we're going to put these mushrooms and apples. Okay, we're going to put the mushrooms and apples in the pan. I'm going to add a half a cup of chicken broth to the pan. And then we're going to add our seasonings. So I've got some garlic powder here. And some onion powder. Whoop, stuck in there. Sometimes you just got to give it a good pound on the counter. There we go.
Kingston poop.
Stop. Huh? Stop. Gross. I guess it's still kind of stuck in there, but it's coming.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Then we've got some rosemary. And just salt and pepper. And we're going to cook this over medium heat for about 5 minutes until all this stuff kind of starts to cook together and the mushrooms cook down a little bit. And after that's done, we're going to scrape the most of the inside of the squash out and mix it in here. You want to leave just a little bit around the edges though, so it holds its shape when you stuff it back in. So this will cook about 5 minutes. And then I will be back to show you how to stuff them and what we're going to put on top. Okay, so my mixture has cooked down. I've scooped out the middle of my squashes here and left just a little bit around the edges there just to hold the shape of the squash after I fill it. And I've shredded up 7 ounces of Gruyere cheese. About half of that, I mixed into the stuffing mixture, and the rest of this is going to go on top. So I'm just going to fill up these squash boats now with the stuffing mixture. I'm going to throw it back in the oven at 450 for about 5 to 10 minutes until that cheese on top has melted. And then you can also broil it for a couple minutes if you want, just to get that crispy topping, which I probably will because that's my favorite part of baking cheese. So I will probably do that, and then it will be time to eat, and I cannot wait to dig into this because it looks super good.